Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. So, The Nun 2 has officially been given a release date, and we're also going to be talking about Resident Evil, the TV series, which was recently just cancelled by Netflix. But we're going to be speaking about The Nun first. So, The Nun, the first one that came out in 2018, it wasn't that great of a movie. I love the Conjuring series, I absolutely adore the first three main Conjuring. I love the first Annabelle. I love Annabelle Comes Home. Annabelle Creation was a bit, you know, but again, they had to do that just to be like, right, we're going to give origin stories now to all these horror people. And it's just like, come on, every horror villain does not need an origin story. It just kind of takes away from it. But as you can see by the Nun 2, the release date has been given, and this is what we got. Warner Brothers Discovery has been delaying or outright cancelling many of their upcoming superhero offerings lately. However, if you're a horror fan, Warner Brothers has just handed out some much needed scary good news. The Nun 2 has just been given an official theatrical release date of September the 8th, 2023. This is what I like now as well. This means the film will hit theaters exactly 5 years after the original Nun debuted in 2018. This also means the sequel is arriving just in time for Valak to kick off the 2023 Halloween season in terrifying fashion. While we are still over a year away from the sequel's release, the Conjuring spin-off will see Michael Chavez, the director behind The Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, back in the director's chair along with stars Taissa Farmiga and Bonnie Aarons, as Sister Irene and the evil Valak respectively. Malignant writer Akila Cooper will be penning the screenplay, and the story reads as follows. So, 1956, France. A priest is murdered, and evil is spreading. The sequel to the worldwide smash hit The Nun follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with the demonic force of Valak, the demon nun. Now, with that there, I am a little bit skeptic because at the end of the first Nun, we see that Valak is there, and it is in Frenchy. And again, you know, we saw in the very first Conjuring film when when the Warrens, they are in the school just before the parent family come to see her, and they're doing an exorcism on Frenchy, and they're showing the class. They're like, right, this guy Frenchy, blah blah blah, spoke some of the best Latin. He had like a third level reading and all this nonsense. And they were like, yes, you know, and he was possessed by the nun Valak, this, that, and the other. But then obviously they saw Valak in The Conjuring 2, which was set in the middle of the 70s here in the UK, in Enfield. And then they were like, okay, you know, that's it. The nun kind of bridged the gap and everything else. This is where we saw from Valak in Annabelle Creation, moving through to the Nun, then going into The Conjuring. So with this one now being set in 1956, a couple of years after the first one, to me it's like, how is this going to happen? You know, is it going to be good, or is it going to be a bit of a, oh, we're only doing this now because we want to make more money? Don't get me wrong, I think Malignant is one of the best horror films of God knows how long. It was just balls to the wall crazy. And I'm actually happy to see that the screenwriter of that film, Akila, is writing this one. So hopefully they stick to Malignant's kind of crazy, outlandish, out there, and embrace that kind of horror for The Nun 2. But it does go on to say as well, so Valak famously first appeared in The Conjuring 2 2016 before getting her own prequel a few years later. It was a unique film, the fact that its gothic tones and Romanian setting had more in common with the classic Universal monster movies than your modern-day haunted house film, a subgenre that The Conjuring helped re-establish in mainstream pop culture. Again, with that, with The Conjuring, the first two Conjuring films, they were absolutely phenomenal. They were so good. Yes, there was a lot of jump scares, but the jump scares worked. They were put in the film to actually make the story go further, to make it go to where it needed to be. The Nun, Annabelle Creation, and to some extent as well, Annabelle Comes Home, the third one, they seem to have just had jump scares for the sake of having jump scares, which is like, right, okay, maybe that's what you wanted, But then, when you look at the original horror films of the 60s, the 70s, they only had 2, maybe 3 jump scares. And the thing is, though, those jump scares is when something terrifying happened. Not just for the sake of it, where, you know, it's all quiet, you're looking around, and then bang! A door slams for no reason, and you see someone come out going, oh, it was only me, ha ha ha. Then it happens again. You know, that sort of thing, it ruins what a jump scare is meant to be. But I am looking forward to this, and hopefully it does it justice and actually is better than the first one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Resident Evil, the TV series on Netflix, the one where they literally just took the entire Resident Evil series, took little bits out of every single game and all the mythology, and just plopped them into one series. Now, I haven't actually seen the series, but my friend has saw it, and he was like, there's some cool moments, but that's about it. Netflix, they cancelled it after 1 season. So this is what we got. So the news, which comes a month and a half after the series' July 14th release, is not entirely surprising, as the drama did not have a particularly strong showing on Netflix's top 10, and cost versus viewing is the streamer's leading renewal criterion. So, obviously, people didn't watch it. And with the cost of certain shows, and just the way I've seen this, it looks like an expensive show. With all the zombie makeup, with all the special effects, and obviously, you know, in the future, the CGI and everything else. To me, I was like, okay, it actually looks okay. But again, though, in trailers, that's what they do. They want to hook you. They want to try and get you to watch it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not really going to watch this at the moment, because again, it was middle of July, I had other stuff going on, and I couldn't binge watch a TV series. And seeing that they cancelled it after 1 show, 1 season, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe it wasn't that good to begin with. But we have seen shows which were good, and they did get finished after 1 season. But with this, it does go on to say, the idea behind the Netflix series was to adapt different parts of different Resident Evil games, opening up the universe and allowing anything to be possible within the show's world. In fact, there had been hints that elements from Resident Evil Village would be making their way into future seasons, with an appearance from Lady Dimitrescu being teased by the creators. Now again, if they had that, I think they were only putting Lady in there just to get the viewers. I really do. Because Resident Evil Village, the story and the characters, that is all they stay with. That story in Resident Evil Village is key to those characters. You can't just take the characters out of there and put them in a new story. Not going to work, because the story was built around those characters. And with this one, again, for me, you had Lance in it, man. Lance Reddick, man. The dude is an absolute legend. I love him. And hearing people say that he was Wesker, and people started comparing him to Blade of all people, which I did find funny, but it's like, come on. If you're going to adapt a Resident Evil film or show or whatever, you need to get the source material down and literally just copy the game. The films have been rubbish, to be honest with you. The first Resident Evil, I gotta admit, that was good because it was a small, confined space, which is what the first Resident Evil game was. Fair enough, they added Alice and a bunch of other characters, but it was just confined to that one area. Resident Evil 2, again, they brought in the Nemesis, Apocalypse is the name of the film. They brought in the Nemesis 1 film too early in my eyes, because you could see, right, we want to get to Nemesis as quickly as we can. Because when you think of Resident Evil, Nemesis just comes to mind, one of the very first thing, along with zombie dogs. But even the films just kind of went off and just did their own thing. Yes, they were successful, but that's what Paul W.S. Anderson does. He takes things, and even if they're just very, very B-movie, they work. Because he's like, yeah, this is what we want to watch. This is what will make money. That is it. Welcome to Raccoon City. Some elements of the film was good, but then the rest, I was just like, oh my God, what the hell have I just watched? You know? And the same with this. I just don't seem to understand why it's so hard to make a decent Resident Evil TV show or movie. I really don't understand how everyone's struggling with it. I really don't. Because what I would do, I would get makers of the game to write a script. Done. You know, just change it into a movie length. Has it got to be about 8,000 or 9,000 pages, which is what Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, the games were. But, you know, just condense it all. I think they could do it. I really do. George Romero, he made a 30-second trailer for just for the game. It was an advert, a commercial, that was released in 1996. And it just skyrocketed. It was brilliant. Have a look for it on YouTube. It is there. But that's what we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future updates. And I'll see each and every one of you soon.